Okay, good morning. Today we are going to start off with a number talk. So, first of all, I hope you guys are doing well. If you weren't able to come to our virtual meetup, try to come to those, okay? I understand that sometimes you have to go places, but you should be coming to most of the virtual meetups, okay? So, if you're not, you need to change that because we're going to be able to go into more depth and do some more fun things when we're actually in the virtual meetup. So, for today, we are talking more about volume. We're diving in a little deeper to what you learned yesterday about volume combinations. So we're going to start off our number talk today talking about which of these objects can hold more. So that would be the same thing as saying which has a larger volume, okay? Which can hold more. So I want you to think about how you could decide which of them has a larger volume. Remember, we're going to use our number talk. 1 is still thinking. 2, I have an answer and a strategy. 3, I have an answer and more than one strategy. 4, that will be agreeing with someone. And 5 is respectfully disagreeing. So since you're at home, what I want you to do is I want you to come up with at least one strategy. If you can think of 2. And pause this video, think about how you would do it, and then explain it to a parent or a sibling or someone around you. Okay, so there are multiple ways you can do this, and we've talked about a few of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show one way that we could do this. So I'm going to get the volume of the blue rectangular prism. So I know that I need to do length times width times height. So the length is 2 inches times the width is 2 inches times the height is 6 inches. Okay, so if I did that, 2 times 2 is 4, times 6 equals 24. And then since we know that we're doing a 3D object, we know we need cubes to measure it. So it'll be cubic inches. Okay, so now let's go over here to this rectangular prism. Okay, so same thing. We need length times width times height. So our length would be 4 inches. Our width would be 1 inch. And our height would be 3 inches. So I'm going to multiply those. So 4 times 1 is 4 times 3. Take a moment and think about what 4 times 3 equals. Okay, so 12. All right, and then again, we're measuring with cubes, so it'll be cubic inches. Okay, so which is more? Now we can compare. If you said the blue rectangular prism, you would be correct. 24 is more than 12. Great job. Okay, so we're going to keep moving on, and we're going to just quickly look at, there we go, yesterday's lesson. So let's look at this. Wrong thing. Come on, swipe up. Yesterday's lesson. Here it is. So let's start from here. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're finding complex figures, okay? So this figure down here, this one that we see with the yellow and the gray, okay? That figure looks like an L. And if we were just to see that, we would say, okay, I don't even know how to get that volume, right? Because that's not something we learned. But what we have learned is how to get the volume of rectangular prisms. So we're going to split this L shape into the yellow piece and into the gray piece in order to get the rectangular, or in order to get the total volume. So we're going to add them. Okay? So let's see. Let's look right here. So you did this yesterday, but I just want to go over it again. So you have this object that isn't colored in at the top, right? And you're thinking, okay, I need to get the total volume. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to take it and divide it into the rectangular prisms. So right down here we have the rectangular prisms. We have this brown one on the top and the purple one on the side. So first, that's some math that we are not working on that kind of math. But okay, so first we would take the three measurements, the length, the width, and the height of the brown. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this. Let's see if I can. Well, yeah, I'm going to do this out loud. So 6 times 5 times 2, right? That would be how we got the volume of that brown figure. 6 times 5 times 2. I could do 6 times 5, which equals 30, times 2 equals 60. Okay, so we know that 60 cubic meters is the volume of the brown. For the purple, we're going to do the same thing, multiply length times width times height. So our length is 4, times the width is 2. So 4 times 2 is 8, times the height, which is 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. So we have 40 cubic meters. Now we know the brown is 60 cubic meters, and we know the purple is 40 cubic meters. So we're going to add those together to get the total volume. Think about what is 60 plus 40. 60 plus 40 is 100. So the total volume of that object is 100 cubic meters. Okay, so that was just talking through it, but now I want us to actually do it. So let's look at this for a second. Let's look. We're going to come over here to the blank spot and we are going to add an image. So let's do this one. Here's our image, okay? All right, so how could I divide this? I want you to think how you could divide it into rectangular prisms. Okay, so there are a few things we could do, and let's talk about them. So one of the things we could do is we could divide it right here. So if you said that, you're right, and this would be one of them, and this would be the other. Okay. And we would know, so you would say, oh, well, we have 3 measurements for the blue, but we only have 2 measurements for the green. Well, we know that the other measurement is going to be, so we have 3 this way, 3 going this way, 3 going down. We need to find this one right here. Well, it's going to be the same as this one. Okay? Can we see that? And you might be asking, well, how do you know that? Well, so it's saying that this down here is 5 centimeters, and this right here is 5 centimeters. Okay? Because we know that the parallel sides are equal. So that means that these parallel sides right here and right here would also be equal. Okay? So that's kind of messy. We'll clear that up. There's one other way that you could do it. So be thinking about that as I delete these little circles. Okay, so the other way you could have done it was like this. Okay, we could have said that this was a rectangular prism, and then this was one over here, and this was one over here. Okay, so now if we said that, which we could, we would be saying that and actually, I'm going to point out my mistake really quick. Why could I not do this? Why do you guys think I couldn't do this? Okay, so I couldn't do this because I don't have this measurement, okay? I don't have the height. So, all is well. You might come across that as well. You might think, oh, I could divide it this way, but then realize you don't have a measurement and can't get it, okay? So let's do it the first way. Oh, here we go. So first, let's do this green box. And we talked about how this green rectangular prism has a height of 3. Okay, so 3 is the height. Put height up there. So it has a height of 3. It has a width of 3. And then its length is going to be 5, because we talked about how this measurement is the same as this measurement, which would be the same as this measurement. So that would be 5. Okay, so that's the length. So we're going to find that one first. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 5 is what? 45. 45 cubic centimeters. Because we measured a 3D object, which means we're measuring in cubes. Now, let's get the volume of this object. Okay, so we have the height, which is 3. We have the width, which is 5. And we have the length, which is 7. Now, we can see, so I did height times width times length. That's what I did for both of these, isn't it? So because of what we know about multiplication, it could go height times width times length. It could go length times width times height, which is what we have been doing. It could go height times length times width. Okay, it could be any of those, okay? So we can switch it up, the order that we do it in. We just need those 3 measurements. So let's go down here. 5 times 7 is 35 times 3. 3 times 35. And I'm going to do this over here. So do it along with me. 5 times 3. 15. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 1 up here is 10. Okay? So that's 105 cubic centimeters. Okay, so now we have the volume of the red, and we have the volume of the green. What are we going to do to find the total? So this is the total. The total is everything. to find total volume, ooh, I don't know why I did that. Okay, to find total volume, we are going to add the volume of the red to the volume of the green. Okay, ooh, and I definitely meant to put equals. Okay, so let's do that. Volume of the red, 105, plus the volume of the green, which is 45. 105 plus 45 equals, so you could do some mental math. Let's talk through that. Let's do 45 plus 5 is 50, right? So 150. 150 what? Cubic centimeters, because we were finding the volume of a 3D object. Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to have you do this next one by yourself. All right, so here we go. Take a few moments, divide this into 2 rectangular prisms, and then find the volume. I want you to pause the video, solve this, and then check back and we will do it together. Okay, so I would have divided it here. Okay. Divided it right there so that now I have this shape, this rectangular prism, and I've got this rectangular prism. Okay, so first I'm going to get the volume of the red rectangular prism. The height is 3 times the width is 2 times the length is 5. All right, so 3 times 2, 6 times 5, 30. 30 what? Cubic meters. Okay, or you could just simplify and say cubic m, right? They're both the same. Now over here, I'm going to do the green. I have my height, which is 2, times my length, which is 5. Oh no, where's my width? Try to see if you can explain to me where the width would be located. How do we know the width? Okay, so we can see our width up here, but if this were an actual box, right, it would look like this. Okay, so we would need that side. So really what we are trying to find is this measurement right here. This one right here. So if I finish off my rectangular prisms, what do I see? I see that this 5 meters, is parallel to that, which means that that missing side is 5 meters. Okay? So we're going to put 5 for the width. 5 times 5 is 25 times 2. So 25 plus 25, right? That's the same thing as 25 times 2 is 50. 50 what? Cubic meters. Okay, and now all I have left to do is get the total volume. So we are going to do 50 plus 30 equals the total, which is 80 cubic meters. Okay. Great job, guys. I hope that made sense. If you are still struggling, please feel free to let me know. Actually, definitely let me know, because I want to help before you have to take your exam. Okay? So I want to help before you have to test on it. So for our optimistic closure, I want you to explain to me who always does that. How do you get the total volume of a complex figure? Okay? And a complex figure means it's not just our regular rectangular prism. Okay? So how do you get that volume? Pause the video, explain to a parent or a sibling how you do that. Okay, great job. You guys did awesome today. I will see you very soon.